Farmer buys land next to the world's most active volcano. What he finds underground will shock you. Beneath the shadow of the monstrous volcano, where ash rains like whispers from the sky, a determined farmer named Sam stands at the edge of his newly acquired land. His loyal German shepherd Rex by his side. The air is thick with tension, a blend of excitement and foreboding. Sam had dreamt of fertile fields, but the ground beneath him trembles with a hidden secret, one that has been buried for centuries. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting eerie shadows across the landscape, Sam feels an unsettling pull from the earth. What began as a hopeful venture quickly morphs into a gripping quest for truth. The closer he digs, the more he unearths. Old relics, strange symbols, and a mystery that could redefine his very existence. With Rex's unwavering loyalty beside him, Sam must confront the haunting legacy of the land and the fire that threatens to consume them both. As Nathan stood on the crest of his newly acquired land, the ground trembled beneath his boots. Smoke billowed from the colossal volcano towering in the distance, a beast of nature that seemed to breathe. The air was thick with the scent of sulfur and anticipation. His heart raced, not only from the fear of what lay beneath but from the hope of a new beginning. Max, his loyal German shepherd, scanned the horizon, his ears perked, sensing the unease that hung in the air like an impending storm. It felt like stepping onto a stage where the script was still being written, and Nathan was both the leading man and an unwitting pawn. The first few weeks were filled with labor and routine, but every night Nathan lay awake, haunted by shadows and whispers that seemed to rise from the earth itself. He started digging near the edge of a wide clearing, a place that the locals warned him to avoid. But curiosity clawed at him, igniting a fire of determination. When Max unearthed a glimmer of metal with his paw, Nathan's heart fell into a chasm of uncertainty. The object was engraved with symbols that seemed foreign yet familiar, sending chills through his spine. He knew then that something was waiting to be revealed, and it was far from ordinary. As days turned into weeks, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The whispers grew louder, echoing in his mind, and every time he set foot in the valley, a heavy tension filled the air. Max growled softly, his instincts sharp, retracing the boundaries of Nathan's growing unease. One evening, beneath a blood-orange sky, Nathan made his way back to the fragmented earth where he'd found the metal. The ground felt alive beneath him, pulsing as if it held secrets begging to be unearthed. With every shovel of dirt, he uncovered more fragments, bones entwined with strange artifacts that suggested a history steeped in dark rituals, lost to time. Storm rolled in unexpectedly, clashing with his thoughts as he wrestled with the implications of his findings. The wind howled, blending with the crackle of thunder, as Nathan's heart raced with a growing dread. He sought shelter in a hollowed-out tree, but the weight of the past bore down on him like the oppressive clouds above. In the shadows, Max remained vigilant, his low growl resonating in the chaotic silence. Nathan was torn between the thrill of discovery and the nagging suspicion that he had awakened something that should have remained buried. The land that had promised a fresh start now felt like a trap, laced with danger. With dawn breaking, the storm subsided, but Nathan's resolve only deepened. He decided to confront the mystery head-on. There was no backing down now. As he stepped out, the light pierced through the clouds, illuminating the remnants of a world long forgotten. With Max at his side, they ventured deeper into the valley, the ground trembling beneath them in rhythm with their pounding hearts. Each step brought them closer to the truth lurking beneath the surface, a truth that could either forge their destinies or chain them to the past forever. In that moment, Nathan understood. The land had chosen him, and with its secrets came the weight of responsibility. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows over the dusty trail as Jonah stood, the weight of his father's old rifle resting against his shoulder. Beside him, Rex, his steadfast German shepherd, sniffed the air, alert to the encroaching dark. The chill of impending night seeped into Jonah's bones, igniting a gnawing apprehension. Days of fruitless searching had led him to this desolate expanse, a place where hope mingled with despair. The whispers of the wind felt like a ghostly reminder of the family he had lost, driving him deeper into the wilderness, where secrets lay buried beneath layers of dust and sorrow. Each footfall echoed the memories of laughter and warmth that had once filled his home. The haunting silence was punctuated only by the soft rustle of brush and the rhythmic panting of Rex, who sensed Jonah's turmoil. The dog's sharp eyes scanned the periphery, a guardian against both physical threats and Jonah's own spiraling thoughts. He longed for his younger brother, whose absence felt like a gaping wound. As he trudged along the rugged path, the shadows danced around him, twisting into memories of their shared adventures, a vivid reminder of what was lost to the cruelty of fate. Suddenly, Rex's ears perked up, and he bolted forward, leading Jonah into the underbrush. For a fleeting moment, hope surged in Jonah's chest, as though the dog had caught a whiff of something long sought after. Pushing through the brambles, he felt the familiar rush of adrenaline, the promise of a breakthrough igniting the darkness within. Rex stopped abruptly, his nose to the ground, revealing a tattered piece of fabric snagged on a thorn. Jonah's heart raced as he recognized the colors, a part of his brother's coat, long missing yet never forgotten. A shiver danced down his spine, each moment stretching like eternity, teetering between dread and anticipation. As he crouched to examine the fabric, the air crackled with unspoken fears. The world around him seemed to hold its breath, a profound silence wrapping around them, thick and suffocating. Jonah's mind whirled with questions. Had he been foolish to hope? Was the tattered cloth a clue or a cruel trick of fate? Glancing at Rex, he found a kindred spirit who shared his resolve, the dog's presence a tether to sanity in this vast wilderness. Together, they pressed onward, determined to unravel the threads of a mystery that had haunted him since that fateful day. Deeper they ventured into the heart of the untamed land, where shadows loomed larger, breaking into a fierce dance as the last rays of sun dipped below the horizon. Jonah felt the weight of despair clawing at him, yet within that darkness, he discovered a flicker of resilience. Every rustle of leaves and crack of twigs underfoot became a reminder that he was not alone, Rex ever faithful by his side. They were bound by more than a journey. They were intertwined, two souls searching for a way to heal and reclaim what had been stolen. The night closed in around them, but with it came a fierce determination to seek the light hidden in the depths of their shared struggle. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the vast expanse of rugged terrain. Daniel stood at the edge of his new homestead, the wooden cabin rising shyly from the earth as if still unsure of its place. Beside him, Rex, his loyal German shepherd, sniffed the air, alert and attuned to every rustle in the underbrush. The weight of his past felt like a heavy cloak around his shoulders, but he inhaled deeply, savoring the clean, crisp air. Every breeze whispering through the pine trees seemed to promise something different, a chance for redemption, a chance to start anew. Evening settled softly, draping the landscape in hues of gold and lavender. Daniel knelt, fingers brushing the soil, and felt a connection, a heartbeat beneath the surface that resonated with his own. He recalled the life he had left behind, buried beneath regret and sorrow. Memories of laughter and loss clung to him, refusing to fade. Yet as he glanced to Rex, the dog's eyes reflecting the fading light with unwavering loyalty, Daniel felt the flicker of hope ignite within him. This place was where he could untangle the threads of his past. This cabin could be a sanctuary for the soul. On the second morning, the world teemed with possibility. A stream gurgled nearby, a melody interwoven with the rustling leaves. Daniel ventured forward with Rex, feeling the pulse of life around him. He paused, catching sight of an old, rusted lantern half buried in the underbrush, an artifact from someone else's story. Intrigued, he picked it up, wiping away the dirt. Traces of its former brilliance sparked an idea within him, and he resolved to restore it as a symbol of new beginnings, one that would light his way forward into the unknown. Every day brought new tasks, but something else lingered in the air, a feeling he couldn't quite shake. As he worked, whispers of the past haunted the edges of his mind. He felt eyes watching him from the shadows of the trees, the distant sound of movement causing Rex to growl softly. Daniel tried to shake the tension from his shoulders, refocusing on repairing the cabin. Yet each creak of wood and rustle of leaves felt like a reminder of the darkness he had fled. The homestead, once a promise of new life, seemed to hold secrets just below the surface. That night, the wind howled, a restless spirit echoing through the mountains. The lantern flickered on the table, casting shimmering shadows that danced along the walls. As he sat by the fire, Daniel couldn't help but imagine what lay hidden in the forest beyond. Rex rested at his feet, sensing the turmoil within. The flickering flame mirrored the uncertainty in his heart, illuminating the doubts he had tried to ignore. Yet amid the unease, there was a fragile thread of determination. He would confront whatever lay ahead, armed with the lessons of the past and the unwavering companionship of his faithful dog. Each heartbeat was a step closer to uncovering the truth, to shaping the future he dared to dream. The sun descended towards the horizon, casting a golden hue over the sprawling plains. Daniel stood at the crest of a hill, his German shepherd, Rex, beside him, panting gently as they surveyed the land. Each blade of grass seemed to shimmer with untold tales, whispering secrets of the pioneers who had tread before him. Daniel's heart thumped in rhythm with a wind that promised change. Every step he had taken along this rugged terrain brought him closer to not just the land itself, but the life he yearned to carve from its stubborn soil. As he walked down the slope, a restless energy surged within him. The land, both inviting and intimidating, held the promise of a future while also bearing the weight of his past. Memories of a life left behind clung to him like shadows, nagging doubts about his worthiness to claim such beauty. Rex trotted ahead, nose to the ground, occasionally looking back, encouraging his master to move forward. The dog's confidence stirred something deep in Daniel, an unshakable notion that perhaps the land could heal what was broken within him. Footprints from an earlier traveler caught his eye, half buried in the earth, each print a ghostly reminder of lives intertwined with nature's rhythm. Curiosity sparked, and he knelt to inspect them. They led toward a thicket, where wildflowers bloomed defiantly against the rugged backdrop. A fresh scent lingered in the air, mingling with the sweet fragrance of the flowers. Rex sniffed the air, ears perked, as if sensing a story hidden just beyond the veil of the thicket. Daniel could feel his pulse quicken. Was there something more awaiting discovery here? Pushing aside the dense branches, he entered the thicket, feeling the air shift around him. The sounds of the outside world faded, replaced by the soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of a hawk. Rex, ever vigilant, moved cautiously beside him. Daniel's heart raced at the thought of what lay ahead, perhaps a hidden spring or traces of a long-forgotten homestead. Yet a sense of dread clung to him, an inkling that the thrill of discovery could come at a steep price. What secrets did this land guard so fiercely? Emerging from the thicket, Daniel stumbled upon a weathered stone, etched with initials worn smooth by time. A shiver ran down his spine. This was no mere marker. It was a testament to love, loss, and dreams unfulfilled. Rex barked softly, nudging him forward, as if urging him to honor the past by forging his own path. In that moment, under the sprawling canvas of a twilight sky, a bond began to form, not just with the land, but with the spirits that lingered, waiting for someone brave enough to listen. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the rugged terrain, as Caleb knelt by the old oak tree. His fingers traced the worn bark, feeling the stories carved into it by time and nature. Beside him, Max, his loyal German shepherd, stood sentinel, vigilant and poised. The dog's dark eyes reflected a knowing intelligence, as if he sensed the weight of Caleb's burden. Each rustle in the underbrush sent a shiver through him, the forest whispering secrets he both feared and craved to uncover. With Max at his side, he felt a glimmer of courage, a tether to hope amidst the uncertainty. A chill wind cut through the clearing, stirring the leaves into a frenzy. Caleb glanced back at Max, who remained still, his ears perked, picking up a sound that Caleb had yet to identify. The bond between man and dog deepened in those moments of shared stillness. Caleb recalled their past adventures, the nights spent huddled under stars while Max kept watch for danger. Memories flooded in, every challenge faced, every fierce storm weathered together. He couldn't shake the feeling that tonight, like so many before, would demand the same unwavering loyalty that Max had always offered. As twilight blanketed the land, Caleb's heart raced. He caught a glimpse of a shadow darting between the trees, a fleeting specter that sent adrenaline coursing through him. "Stay," he whispered to Max, though the dog was already attuned to Caleb's rising tension. The silence pressed heavily upon him, broken only by the distant hoot of an owl. Something was amiss, and he sensed that danger was lurking closer than he thought. Max let out a low growl, his stance shifting from passive to protective, the instinct to shield his master ignited with each passing moment. The forest seemed alive, pulsating with a hidden menace as Caleb crept forward, heart pounding in his chest. With each cautious step, he felt the unease wrap tighter around him, the weight of secrets hidden beneath the earth. Max moved alongside him, a steadfast presence, his body tense and ready. Suddenly the underbrush rustled violently, and a figure emerged, a stranger with a wary look, a flash of steel glinting in the dying light. Caleb's breath caught in his throat, the air thick with unspoken tension. He reached instinctively for Max, feeling the dog's warm, reassuring presence against his leg. "Who are you?" Caleb called, voice steady despite the storm raging inside him. Max barked, a deep resonant sound that echoed through the trees, a warning and a promise. The stranger hesitated, eyes darting from Caleb to Max, measuring the threat they posed. In that charged moment, Caleb understood the depths of their bond. Max was more than a companion. He was courage embodied. As answers hung in the precarious balance between them, Caleb knew that whatever lay ahead, he would face it with Max by his side, their loyalty forged in the crucible of each shared struggle. The morning sun filtered through the towering pines, casting jagged shadows across the rugged terrain. Jack adjusted his weathered hat, the brim shielding his eyes as he listened to the distant murmurs swelling like a rising tide among the townsfolk. Whispers of a mountain stirring in its sleep rippled through the small settlement, a rumor that gripped the community with an icy dread. Beside him, Max, his loyal German shepherd, shifted uneasily, sensing the tension in the air. Jack could feel the unease gnawing at his insides, a nagging instinct urging him to investigate the source of the growing panic. As he made his way to the saloon, the scent of whiskey mingled with the earthy aroma of damp wood. Men hunched over tables, their faces drawn and weary, casting furtive glances toward the door as if expecting a harbinger of doom to stroll in. Jack caught snippets of conversation. Words like eruption and earthquake punctuated the air with a weight he couldn't shake. He approached the bar, feeling the tap of Max's paw against his leg, a silent reminder of his steadfast companion. The barkeep, a grizzled man with a lined face, nodded solemnly, confirming the dark rumors. After a few stiff drinks, Jack's resolve solidified. He couldn't ignore the foreboding signs, the rumblings that had rattled his cabin at night, the arrows of smoke that danced in the sky. As the sun dipped low, a crimson hue bathed the landscape, making the mountains appear as though they were on fire. The shadows of doubt crept into his mind, but the loyalty in Max's gaze anchored him. Together, they ventured toward the foothills, where the ground trembled beneath their feet, each step weighted with the gravity of unspoken fears. The road narrowed, winding through thick brush and rocky outcrops. The sound of distant rumbling echoed like a warning bell, a rhythmic pulse that felt alive. Jack paused, clutching the strap of his knapsack, the weight of his decisions pressing on him. He felt the heat radiate from the earth, the air vibrating with an energy he could not explain. Max growled softly, his ears perked up, as if he sensed the danger lurking just beyond the bend. Jack's heart raced. Something was awakening, and they were perilously close to the heart of it. At the precipice of a clearing, Jack spotted evidence of the mountain's troubling signs, a fissure splitting the earth, smoke curling from its depths like a serpent. His breath quickened. He crouched beside Max, whose instincts kicked in, a low growl vibrating through his chest. Scattered remnants of charred trees and uneven ground told tales of destruction. Jack's pulse quickened as a sudden quake reverberated through the ground, sending a cascade of stones tumbling down. He knew now that the whispers were not mere gossip. They were a siren's call to danger, and he had to act before the mountain unleashed its fury. The sky was painted in hues of crimson and gold as Lars trudged through the thick underbrush, his German shepherd Max at his side. Each footfall sent up a puff of dust, but beneath it, something deeper stirred. The air was electric, charged with a tension he couldn't name. Max paused, ears perked and growled lowly, a warning that set the hair on the back of Lars's neck bristling. This was no ordinary evening in the wild. There was a rhythm in the ground, a pulse that thrummed underfoot, as if the earth itself was alive and breathing. They pressed onward, the trees towering above them like silent sentinels. Lars felt the weight of something unseen, a presence lurking just beyond the veil of the waning light. Memories of the town's warnings echoed in his mind, the tales of tremors and shadowed figures moving under the cloak of night. Each story was a thread woven into the fabric of fear that had gripped the community since the first signs had appeared. He glanced down at Max, who remained vigilant, his black coat gleaming in the fading light, and found strength in the bond they shared. It was their world, and together they would uncover its secrets. As the shadows deepened, the ground beneath them shivered once more, a jolt that seemed to reverberate through Lars's bones. He halted, heart racing, and squatted to touch the earth, sensing the vibrations with his fingertips. Max stood close, his dark eyes scanning the dense foliage, as if he sensed the weight of the unknown pressing in. It was then Lars noticed something, a series of peculiar markings in the dirt, jagged and foreign, leading deeper into the thicket. Every instinct screamed to turn back, yet curiosity clawed at him like a hungry beast, urging him forward into the heart of the mystery. Despite the unsettling feeling clawing at his gut, Lars couldn't shake the pull of the unknown. He followed the markings, every step heavy with uncertainty. The trees began to close in around them, branches twisting like skeletal hands, whispering secrets of an ancient time. Max stayed close, sensing his master's trepidation, offering silent reassurance. A sharp snap echoed through the woods, and both man and dog froze, hearts pounding in unison. What lay ahead felt far removed from the familiar trails they often traversed, and yet Lars felt an undeniable connection to whatever force had clawed its way into their reality. The air thickened with anticipation as Lars rounded a bend, revealing a clearing that felt both sacred and foreboding. In its center, a massive stone altar stood weathered by time but etched with the same jagged markings from the path. The ground trembled beneath him again, more pronounced now, as if the earth were beckoning. He could feel Max's muscles tense at his side, the dog's instincts honed to alert him to danger. This was not just a discovery, it was a reckoning. Lars's heart raced, a mix of fear and exhilaration blossoming within him. For in that moment, he understood. They were on the brink of uncovering something that could change everything. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting elongated shadows in the sparse wilderness. Samuel knelt close to the earth, his fingers sifting through the loose soil. Rex, his loyal German shepherd, stood sentinel by his side, ears perked and body tense. A sense of unease settled in Samuel's chest, the familiar tightness of apprehension. As he unearthed a rusted canister, his heart raced, for the villagers had whispered of buried truths, remnants of a past better left undisturbed. He brushed away the grime, revealing a faded insignia that sent a chill through him. This was no ordinary relic. Rex's low growl broke the stillness, alerting Samuel to an unseen presence. He felt the hair on the back of his neck prickle as a figure emerged from the trees, shrouded in shadows. It was Old Man Fitz, his weathered face carved with lines of sorrow and secrets. "You shouldn't be digging there, boy," Fitz warned, his voice a gravelly whisper. Samuel's pulse quickened. Those were the same words his father had uttered before disappearing into the night. The connection was undeniable, and Samuel's resolve hardened. He needed answers, even if they lay buried in the ghostly past. Fitz stepped closer, the fading light casting a pall over his features. "Some things are better left forgotten," he said, his eyes flickering with a storm of emotions. Samuel felt the weight of the man's gaze, as if the air between them thickened with unspoken tension. Every instinct screamed at him to turn away, but the lure of discovery was too potent. The canister felt heavy in his hands, its contents promising revelations that could shatter the fragile peace of their community. Was Fitz protecting him, or hiding something darker? With a deep breath, Samuel pushed the canister open, releasing a musty aroma that hung in the cool evening air. Inside lay brittle papers, their edges yellowed with age. As he unfolded the first sheet, his eyes widened at the names scribbled there. Friends, neighbors, now long gone. Each word felt like a dagger, piercing through the fabric of his life. The history of betrayal and loss unfolded before him, igniting a fire in his chest. He was not merely a spectator, he was a part of this tragedy, destined to confront the shadows that loomed over his family. Rex nudged his leg, grounding him in that moment of chaos. Samuel looked down at his faithful companion, finding solace in those steadfast eyes. The weight of the past was unbearable, yet he felt a flicker of determination spark within him. He knew he had to untangle the web of secrets that ensnared their lives. Samuel clenched the papers tightly, drawing strength from Rex's unwavering presence. The journey ahead promised danger and truth, but he was ready to confront the ghosts that had haunted him for far too long. The early morning mist clung to the ground, a silvery shroud that transformed the world into a dreamscape. Eli trudged along the narrow trail, his faithful German shepherd Rex trotting beside him, ears perked and alert to the sounds of the awakening wilderness. The soft crunch of gravel beneath their boots echoed in the quiet, a rhythmic reminder that they were alone in this vast expanse. Yet, amidst the serenity, an unsettling sense of being watched crept over Eli. A rustling from the thicket caught Rex's attention, and he halted, muscles tensing as he instinctively positioned himself between Eli and the forest's edge. Eli's breath hitched as he scanned the densely packed trees, each shadow holding the potential for danger. A flicker of movement drew his gaze. A figure, half hidden behind a gnarled oak, was watching. Eli's heart raced, the haunting silence amplifying the sound of his own pulse. He reached instinctively for the hunting knife strapped to his side, the cold steel a reassurance against the unknown. Rex growled softly, a low rumble that vibrated through the air. Eli took a cautious step forward, curiosity battling with caution, his instincts urging him to retreat while something deep within urged him closer. As he approached, the figure stepped into the light, revealing a woman in tattered clothes, her face streaked with dirt and despair. Her eyes, wide and glistening, held a story that spanned years of hardship. "I didn't mean to frighten you," she whispered, her voice cracking like the brittle twigs beneath their feet. "I thought I was alone." Eli's heart sank, not just from fear, but from the realization that she bore the marks of survival and of pain. Rex's growl softened to a curious whine, sensing the vulnerability radiating from her. Eli's grip on his knife relaxed as he readied himself to listen, his heart wrestling with the need to protect. "Please, I'm being hunted," she continued, her words tumbling out in a frantic rush. "I've seen things that will make them come for you too." Eli's mind raced, piecing together the fragments of her fear, the specter of danger looming larger than the trees around them. He could feel his own fear, but there was something else, a strange desire to help this stranger, to pierce through the veil of mystery that surrounded her. Rex was at his side, an unyielding guardian in this standoff between worlds, urging him to trust his instincts. Eli took a step closer, his resolve hardening. "Then you need to come with us," Eli said, surprising even himself with the boldness of the offer. The woman hesitated, her eyes flickering with uncertainty. He understood that trust was earned, not given, but the urgency in her gaze mirrored the turmoil churning in his own heart. "We can find safety together. Whatever is chasing you won't find us in the hills." She studied him for a moment longer, then nodded, the tension in her shoulders easing slightly. As the three of them, a man, a dog, and a weary woman, set off down the trail, the air was thick with unspoken promises and lingering shadows, and Eli couldn't shake the feeling that their journey had only just begun. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting an amber glow over the desolate landscape. Ethan stood at the edge of a rugged cliff, the wild wind tousling his hair as he surveyed the valley below. Shadows danced among the craggy rocks, whispering secrets of adventures that had yet to unfold. At his side, Rex, his steadfast German shepherd, shifted his weight, alert and quivering with anticipation. Something in the air felt electric, as though the very earth breathed a promise of discovery, urging him to step forward into the unknown. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest, caught in the throes of a long-held desire. Memories flooded his mind, images of his late father, with calloused hands and a weathered face, teaching him the art of survival. Each lesson had been a thread woven into the fabric of his being, a tapestry that now beckoned him to heed its call. He closed his eyes, inhaling deeply, savoring the scent of pine and the distant murmur of a hidden creek. It was here, amidst the wild splendor, that he could finally chase the ghosts of his past and find his place in the world. The trail ahead twisted into thick underbrush, branches reaching out like fingers eager to ensnare him. Rex paused, ears perked, sensing something in the atmosphere that eluded Ethan's keen intuition. The dog growled softly, a low rumble echoing the unease coiling in Ethan's gut. Shadows elongated as twilight advanced, the familiar pathways now transformed into a labyrinth of uncertainty. He took a hesitant step forward, biting back a wave of doubt. The thrill of danger sang sweetly in his veins, urging him onward despite the foreboding that clung to the air. As they ventured deeper, the light faded, replaced by the chill of encroaching night. The distant hoot of an owl punctuated the silence, a call that resonated with Ethan's unspoken fears. Each footfall crunched underfoot, a reminder of his solitude amidst the wild. Yet, Rex remained a constant presence, his warm body brushing against Ethan's leg, grounding him in the moment. The bond between man and beast deepened as their breaths mingled, a silent conversation of strength and loyalty. Here, in this crucible of nature, Ethan felt the pull of destiny tighten its grip. Then, through the thickening darkness, a glimmer caught Ethan's eye, a flicker of light dancing just beyond the tree line. His heart raced with a mix of apprehension and exhilaration. What lay beyond that shimmering veil? Was it merely the reflection of the last rays of sunlight, or did it herald a fragment of the mystery he had been seeking? Rex barked quietly, encouraging him to proceed. A tapestry of unresolved questions unfurled before him, and with a deep breath, Ethan stepped toward the light, ready to embrace whatever lay waiting in the shadows. The low sun cast elongated shadows as Jacob and his loyal German shepherd, Max, trekked deeper into the heart of the desolate valley. Dust stirred around their boots, each step echoing the pulse of a restless land. Jacob's heart raced not just from the physical exertion, but from an electric anticipation that pricked at his skin. He caught a glimpse of an old abandoned mine entrance, tangled in weeds and shrouded in mystery. An ancient map, passed down through whispers, hinted at hidden secrets buried within. Could this forgotten place be the key to untold riches, or would it unveil the darkness lurking in his past? As they approached the mine, the air grew heavy with a past that felt almost tangible. Max's ears perked up, and he let out a low growl, instinctively alert to unseen dangers. Jacob paused, scanning the area, his mind racing with memories of tales long told by his grandfather. Stories of lost gold and treachery danced in his thoughts, igniting a flicker of hope mixed with dread. He reached for the map, his fingers trembling as he traced the intricate lines, feeling the weight of possibility. Could he trust this crumbling piece of paper, or was it merely a lure into an abyss? The mine loomed before him, darkness swallowing the entrance like a hungry beast. Jacob hesitated, heart pounding, as Max pressed close, sensing his master's turmoil. He felt the cool bite of fear coil around his gut, memories of loss intertwining with that thrill of adventure. Jacob recalled the last time he had ventured into unknown territory, the reckless decision that cost him so dearly. Yet the allure of what lay ahead urged him forward. He took a deep breath, allowing the courage of a man determined to reclaim his future to guide his steps. Inside, the stale air clung to him, each breath a reminder of past regrets. Flickering shadows danced on the walls, creating an eerie tapestry of their struggle against time. Jacob's flashlight pierced the dark, illuminating remnants of a forgotten era, rusted tools, brittle pages of old documents, and a glimmering object half buried in dust. With each discovery, the pulse of adventure quickened, but so did the weight of loss. He felt the presence of those who had come before him, their dreams infused with both hope and despair. This journey was as much about treasure as it was about mending the fractures within himself. As the light flickered upon a small chest hidden behind crumbling rock, Jacob's heart threatened to leap from his chest. The moment stretched like the silence before a storm, filled with unspoken promises and painful memories. He knelt beside the chest, hands trembling with anticipation and anxiety. Max sat beside him, a steadfast guardian who understood without words. With a deep breath, Jacob pried it open, revealing a trove of glimmering gold coins and dusty letters. But beyond the treasure, there was a deeper revelation waiting for him, a chance to confront the ghosts of his past and redefine what it meant to be free. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows that stretched across the dusty ground. Caleb adjusted his hat, glancing down at Rex, his loyal German shepherd, who stood alert beside him. The air was thick with an unshakable tension, a sense that something was amiss. He could feel it in the pit of his stomach, a gnawing unease that gnawed at him as he surveyed the empty horizon. Only the rustle of dry grass broke the silence, a mournful whisper that seemed to echo his apprehensions about the coming days. As he moved deeper into the valley, Caleb noticed the unusual stillness. The usual cacophony of birdsong was absent, replaced by a heavy silence that burrowed into his bones. Rex growled softly, his fur bristling along his spine as he picked up on his owner's worry. The scent of smoke drifted on the wind, an acrid reminder of something sinister lurking just out of sight. Caleb's heart raced as he recalled the old tales of rogue raiders who had once terrorized these lands, growing more real with each passing breath. The first signs of disarray began to show in the nearby town. As Caleb approached the weathered saloon, its swinging doors creaked ominously. Inside, a handful of patrons exchanged wary glances, their laughter stifled by apprehension. Caleb's eyes met those of the bartender, who hastily wiped his hands on a grimy rag, his expression clouded with concern. Whispers filled the room, fragments of conversations that hinted at a mounting problem. Stories of lost livestock and strange lights flickering in the night, each revelation tightening the knot of fear in Caleb's gut. Determined to delve deeper, Caleb leaned against the bar, ordering a whiskey while keeping his gaze sharp. The bartender hesitated before pouring, glancing nervously towards the back door as if expecting to see something, or someone, emerge. "You hear about the Johnsons?" he asked, lowering his voice. Caleb felt his pulse quicken as he leaned in closer, forcing himself to focus on the man's words. "They left 3 days ago, and they never made it to the next settlement. No one's seen hide nor hair of them." The grim weight of the bartender's words settled over Caleb as he contemplated the implications of their disappearance. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a chill wind swept through the saloon, stirring the dust and shadows. Caleb's thoughts raced, his instincts screaming for action. Rex, sensing his tension, nudged his hand, grounding him in the present. The dog's presence was a tether to sanity amidst the encroaching darkness. With the bartender's warnings echoing in his mind, Caleb felt the undeniable pull of fate drawing him toward a confrontation with the unknown. Gripping the whiskey glass tightly, he made a silent vow. The time for idle speculation was over. He needed to uncover the truth before it swallowed him whole. The wind howled across the barren expanse of the frontier, carrying secrets buried deep in the earth. Under the dim light of the setting sun, Jacob crouched beside the crackling campfire, his German shepherd Max lying close by, ears perked up. As the fire cast flickering shadows on his rugged face, Jacob unrolled the tattered piece of parchment he had discovered in an abandoned cabin earlier that day. The air hung thick with the scent of pine and smoke, mingling with the weight of anticipation. Each line drawn on the map pulsed with a life of its own, hinting at distant mountains and hidden valleys that whispered of untold treasures. His heart raced as he traced a finger along the faded ink, the contours of the land becoming etched in his mind. Memories of his father's stories surfaced, tales of great adventures and elusive riches that once seemed like distant fantasies. An unsettling mix of hope and doubt coiled in his stomach. What if the map led to a fortune? Or worse, what if it was nothing more than a cruel joke? Max lifted his head, sensing his master's turmoil, and Jacob felt a rare moment of connection pass between them, a silent agreement to face whatever lay ahead, together. As night fell, he wrestled with the allure of the unknown. The fire crackled and shadows danced like wraiths, urging him to abandon caution. Overhead, stars pierced the darkness, their brightness mocking the doubts that clawed at his mind. He considered the risks, the rough terrain, the potential for danger, and the possibility of never returning. But with every heartbeat, the thrill of discovery pushed him onward. Beneath the stars, he imagined the glory of finding something extraordinary, something that could change his life and redeem the past he was trying to escape. In the shadows, Max stood, his silhouette stark against the brightness of the flames. The dog, ever intuitive, watched Jacob intently, as if sensing the inner battle raging within. Jacob felt a stirring of gratitude for his loyal companion. Max had been there through thick and thin, a steadfast anchor in a world that often felt chaotic. With a deep breath, he tucked the map safely into his coat, determination igniting in his chest. Tonight, he would forge his path, but he knew he would never make this journey alone. They were bound by more than loyalty. They shared the same restless spirit yearning for adventure. As he extinguished the fire and readied himself for sleep, the map flickered in his mind, each curve and line revealing a fragment of a larger puzzle. What secrets lay hidden beyond the hills? What dangers awaited? With Max by his side, anticipation thrummed through his veins like a distant drum, and sleep was but a reluctant visitor. The night whispered its mysteries, and dawn would soon bring both questions and answers. Jacob felt an undeniable pull toward the unknown, a thread woven into the fabric of his life, leading him ever onward into the shadows of possibility. The sun hung low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the rugged landscape. Ethan felt the familiar tingle of anxiety creeping up his spine, a sensation he'd only ever experienced when he was too close to danger. Beside him, Rex, his loyal German shepherd, shifted uneasily, sensing his master's tension. They had been tracking a lead for days, a whisper of a secret buried within the hills, and now time had started to slip through their fingers like grains of sand. Every heartbeat echoed in Ethan's ears, reminding him that they were racing against more than just the clock. As they plunged deeper into the woods, the air thickened with uncertainty. Ethan's thoughts spiraled. Each rustling leaf and snapping twig heightened his awareness of the threats lurking just beyond view. "We're close, boy," he murmured, glancing down at Rex, whose nose was buried in a fresh trail. A sudden flash of memory broke through. The face of his sister, her eyes wide with fear when she had vanished. His resolve hardened. He couldn't let her down again. They were inching closer to unearthing the truth, but what awaited them could either set them free or encase them in darkness. A chilling wind swept through the trees, sending a shiver down Ethan's spine. He paused, listening intently to the silence around him, as if the woods themselves held their breath. Rex sat alert, ears pricked, sensing the shift in atmosphere. Ethan reached into his pocket, fingering the scrap of paper he'd found at the last campsite, a map with an X marking the place where secrets whispered in the night. He squinted at the fading ink, trying to decipher the cryptic symbols. Time was their enemy, threatening to erase the last chance to uncover what happened. With renewed determination, Ethan pressed on, the adrenaline coursing through him with each heavy step. The scent of pine mixed with the earthy aroma of damp soil invigorated him. He could feel Rex's presence at his side, a steadfast companion against the creeping shadows of doubt that threatened to pull him under. Together, they moved swiftly, navigating routes tangled like the webs of mystery surrounding his sister's disappearance. Every ounce of energy surged through him, fueled by the hope that perhaps they could bring light to the darkness that had shrouded their lives for too long. At last, they emerged into a clearing bathed in the dying light of day, the outline of an abandoned cabin appearing like a ghost from the past. Ethan's heart pounded a furious rhythm in his chest as he scanned the area, half expecting to see familiar faces and half dreading what they might find. Rex growled lowly, a warning that sent a fresh wave of adrenaline pulsing through Ethan's veins. They had come too far to turn back now. With a resolve as unyielding as the mountains that surrounded them, he stepped forward, ready to face whatever awaited in the shadows of that forgotten place. The dusty road stretched before him like an unwritten chapter, fraught with shadows of the past. As Samuel trudged forward, his faithful German shepherd Rex padded alongside, sensing the weight of unspoken memories hanging heavily in the air. The sun dipped low, casting long fingers of orange and purple across the horizon, but the beauty felt tainted, as if it were mocking Samuel's own internal turmoil. Each step stirred fragments of a life he thought he'd buried deep within. The laughter of his brother, the echoes of a lost home and a promise left broken long ago. The old homestead loomed like a ghost against the fading light, its timbers gray and weary. Samuel hesitated on the threshold, heart pounding, the cool evening breeze whispering secrets through the cracks in the walls. Rex's ears perked up, sensing the anxiety radiating from his master. Together, they stepped inside, the floorboards creaking underfoot, each sound amplifying the stillness that enveloped them. Dust motes danced in the air, illuminated by the last remnants of sunlight, casting an ethereal glow that seemed to mock Samuel's hesitation. With each room explored, Memories crashed over him like waves. The kitchen, where his mother had stirred pots of stew, now stood silent, the chipped table a relic of warmth long extinguished. Rex nudged him gently, offering solace in his furry presence. Samuel closed his eyes, inhaling the scent of aged wood and nostalgia. Recollections flooded his mind, vivid and unyielding, of laughter shared with his brother and the hearty meals that once bound their family together. All of it felt so distant, yet the sting of regret pressed heavily on his heart. As he ventured deeper into the house, he stumbled upon a hidden trapdoor beneath a frayed rug. Crouching low, Samuel's breath quickened, anticipation knotting in his chest. He pried it open, revealing a dark void that beckoned with unanswered questions. Rex whined softly, sensing the tension building in their shared silence. As Samuel descended into the shadows, the air grew colder, and the faint glimmer of something metallic caught his eye. A rusted locket, half buried in dirt. He froze, realizing it bore the initials of his brother, thrusting him into a whirlwind of emotions, a mixture of dread, discovery, and the desperate need for closure. In that dim, musty space, time seemed to warp, amplifying his longing for reconciliation with his past. Samuel's fingers trembled as he brushed dirt from the locket, revealing a faded photograph inside. His brother grinning, carefree. Tears welled, blurring his vision as the weight of guilt and loss crashed over him. Should he have been there? Could he have changed their fate? Rex whined softly, pressing against his leg as if to say he was not alone. Samuel clutched the locket tightly, a lifeline to the memories he thought lost, determined to uncover the truth buried deeper than he had ever imagined. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows through the endless pines as Jacob moved cautiously through the dense underbrush. Beside him, Thor, his loyal German shepherd, sniffed the air, ears perked with a tension that mirrored Jacob's own. The woods felt alive, whispering secrets in the rustle of leaves and the snap of twigs underfoot. Each footfall echoed with uncertainty, a reminder of what lay unseen beyond the next bend. There was something amiss here, an unsettling feeling that coiled within Jacob's gut, urging him to turn back, yet something else, the thrill of discovery, drew him deeper. Jacob recalled the old tales shared around smoldering campfires, stories of vanished pioneers and hidden treasures. The heart of the forest had never revealed its truths easily, and as he pressed on, every rustle seemed to carry the weight of those who had come before him. Thor growled softly, a low rumble that sent a chill down Jacob's spine. He glanced at his companion, whose protective instincts were kicking in. They were intruding on a mystery far older than themselves, and Jacob felt the air thickening, charged with an unspoken warning that pulsed through the trees. Suddenly, a flicker of motion caught Jacob's eye, a glimmer of something metallic half buried in the damp earth. Heart racing, he knelt down, brushing aside the leaves and dirt. It was a locket, tarnished and weathered, engraved with a name he couldn't quite make out. The moment hung in the air, heavy with questions that throbbed like the beat of a distant drum. Who had lost it? What secrets had it held? Thor nudged Jacob's arm, sensing his unease, and in that moment, the bond between man and dog anchored Jacob against the tide of dread that threatened to pull him under. As he examined the locket, a wave of memories surged. His father's stories of lost loved ones and the promises made in the dark of night. There was a weightier connection to the past flooding his thoughts, urging him to remember that trust could flourish even in the most desolate terrains. With Thor by his side, Jacob found a flicker of resolve. He had ventured into the unknown, and while shadows loomed, the beating of his heart reminded him that courage lay in embracing uncertainty, not shying away from it. With renewed determination, Jacob placed the locket carefully in his pocket, an emblem of the journey he was undertaking. He felt the coolness of the metal against his skin, a talisman of connection to those who had been lost to the forest. As he turned deeper into the woods, Thor walked closely beside him, a steadfast guardian against whatever darkness awaited. Together, they would unravel the layers of mystery that the wilderness cloaked in silence. Each step forward brought a flicker of promise, a testament to the trust that burgeoned in the unknown, where adventure and peril intertwined like the gnarled roots beneath their feet. The air was thick with tension, the kind that curls around a man's gut and makes him question his choices. Jake stood at the edge of the village, his heart pounding as he observed the distant silhouette of the mountain. It had been quiet for decades, a slumbering giant cloaked in layers of green. But now, a low rumble vibrated through the ground, pulsing beneath his boots like a heartbeat. His loyal companion, Rex, a sable-coated German shepherd, stood alert beside him, ears pricked, sensing the unease that hung in the air. Together, they were a fortress against the unknown. The villagers bustled about, their faces shadowed with worry. Jake felt the weight of their anxiety bearing down on him, digging deeper into his skin. He exchanged glances with Old Man Riley, whose gnarled hands trembled as he pointed toward the mountain, mumbling of omens and forgotten tales of fire and ash. Jake's brow furrowed. There lay a secret buried in the old man's stories. Something about the way he spoke ignited flickers of doubt, compelling Jake to listen, to dig deeper into the mystery swirling around them. Rex let out a low growl, echoing his owner's growing unrest. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the sky transformed into a tapestry of orange and purple hues. Jake and Rex ventured into the surrounding woods, the atmosphere thick with the scent of damp earth and the promise of rain. They climbed to a secluded clearing, where the unmistakable scent of sulfur wafted through the air. Jake's heart raced as he knelt, studying the ground for signs, discoloration, cracks, anything that would reveal the mountain's hidden intentions. Rex's growl intensified, a warning that sent shivers down Jake's spine. Something was awakening, and it was both beautiful and terrifying. In the darkness, shadows flickered around them, whispering secrets of the past. Jake's mind wandered to the stories of his father, who had once stood in this very spot, entranced by the mountain's grandeur. The weight of legacy rested on his shoulders, the duty to understand what lay beneath the earth's surface. As Rex nudged him, a deep rumble echoed through the air, and a plume of steam rose from the mountain's peak like a ghostly breath. Fear and awe collided in Jake's chest. He could feel the pulse of something primal, urging him to uncover the truth buried deep within the heart of the beast. With dawn's first light, the village stirred, unaware of the cataclysm brewing just beyond their sight. Jake stood at the threshold, torn between his instincts and the duty he felt toward his community. The shared worry in the villagers' eyes mirrored his own, yet he felt an insatiable pull to explore the mountain's mysteries. Rex whimpered, sensing his master's turmoil. Together, they took a step forward, a man and his dog against the world. The ground trembled beneath them, a reminder that in the dance of nature they were mere spectators. But Jake knew then, the awakening had only just begun. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows over the rugged terrain, as Caleb knelt beside a glinting object half buried in the dirt. His German shepherd, Thor, sniffed the air, ears perked and posture tense. Caleb's heart raced, not from the fading daylight, but from the sudden chill creeping up his spine. He brushed away the earth, revealing a rusted locket, its surface marred but still holding a glimmer of memories. The moment was electric, charged with uncertainty and a sense of foreboding that gnawed at him. A feeling that perhaps they had stumbled onto something they were never meant to find. Caleb's thoughts drifted back to the tales whispered around campfires, stories of lost souls wandering the very land they now claimed as their own. Thor let out a low growl, as if sensing the weight of those stories hanging thick in the air. Every instinct in Caleb urged him to toss the locket back into the earth, to leave the past buried where it belonged. Yet he felt an inexplicable pull, a magnetic urge to uncover the secrets of the locket, as if it were a key to a door he never even knew existed. He glanced at Thor, whose watchful gaze mirrored his own uncertainty. The bond between them felt strained, teetering on the edge of something monumental. As they made their way back to camp, the shadows grew deeper, swallowing the world around them. Conversations from earlier now seemed distant echoes, lost in a haze of anxiety. Caleb's mind raced with questions. Who did this locket belong to? What had happened here? Each step felt heavier, dragging him down into a pit of mysteries unspoken. Thor stayed close, his reassuring presence a balm to Caleb's fraying nerves, their bond forged by countless adventures proving more crucial than ever. But with every unanswered question, Caleb felt the distance between them growing, a silent reminder that sometimes the past threatens to seep into the present. That night, beneath a sky heavy with stars, Caleb wrestled with restless dreams. Images of the locket swirled around him, visions woven with despair, longing, and a flicker of hope. He could feel Thor's warmth against his side, a constant reminder of loyalty and companionship, even in darkness. But the feeling of unease persisted, like a storm cloud hanging over their fragile connection. Could Caleb allow Thor to share in the weight of his discovery, or was this a burden he must bear alone? The question gnawed at him, feeding his isolation as he fought the demons lurking in his subconscious. Morning light broke the horizon, igniting a new resolve within Caleb. He stood, brushing the remnants of sleep from his mind, and met Thor's watchful gaze. The locket glimmered from his pack, a siren song calling him back to its secrets. This was no longer just a relic, it was a challenge. Together, they would unravel the mysteries of the land and the echoes of the past that whispered through the trees. As they set out to confront the unknown, Caleb realized that whatever trials lay ahead, they would face them as one, their bond a steadfast anchor against the tides of uncertainty. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows across the rugged landscape. As Samuel trudged along the worn path, his faithful German shepherd, Rex, trotted beside him, ears perked with suspicion. Each step felt heavier, burdened by the weight of unspoken truths. The air grew thick with tension as they approached the abandoned cabin, its silhouette stark against the crimson horizon. Samuel's heart raced, memories of the past flooding his mind, whispers of secrets buried deep in the wooden floorboards, of the family he had lost. With a deep breath, he steeled himself for what lay ahead. Pushing open the creaking door, Samuel hesitated, the musty smell engulfing him like a shroud. Dust motes danced in the last rays of daylight as Rex padded forward, his nose low to the ground. Samuel followed, each footfall echoing the uncertainty that gnawed at him. The dim light illuminated the remnants of a life once lived. Faded photographs, a chipped porcelain doll, and a cracked mirror reflecting his anxious face. A rustling sound from the corner caught Rex's attention, his ears standing at attention. Samuel's heart thudded, dread pooling in his stomach. What had he come to uncover? Rex moved cautiously toward the sound, his instincts heightened. Samuel felt an urge to call him back, but curiosity propelled him forward. As he inched closer, he spotted a tattered trunk, half hidden beneath a pile of rotting wood. His heart raced, an invisible thread pulling him closer. With trembling hands, he knelt beside it, the old hinges groaning as he pried it open. Inside lay a collection of letters tied with a fraying ribbon, their ink faded yet familiar, each addressed to him, names long forgotten, buried beneath years of regret. They whispered promises of truth, tales of love and betrayal. As he read, Samuel felt the breath leave his body. Each word carried the weight of his past, unveiling a tapestry of lies woven into his family history, betrayals that had haunted him, shaping him into a man of solitude. The revelation hit him like a winter storm, fierce and unrelenting. Rex nudged his hand, grounding him in the present. Samuel swallowed hard, grappling with the conflicting emotions. Anger flared within him, yet the ache of loss and forgiveness intertwined, forging an unexpected bond between the man and his dog, both seeking solace in the face of buried truths. With the last letter crumpled in his fist, Samuel stood, a newfound determination coursing through his veins. The cabin seemed to pulse around him, alive with the echoes of the past. Rex barked softly, as if sensing the shift within his master, urging him forward. Outside, the sun dipped below the horizon, leaving a canvas of twilight hues in its wake. The revelation transformed from a haunting specter to a guiding light, illuminating the path ahead. Samuel straightened his back, ready to face whatever awaited him, his loyal companion at his side. What once felt like an insurmountable burden now felt like a call to reclaim his life. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a golden glow over the rugged landscape. Thomas stood at the edge of the cliff, his German shepherd Rex by his side, panting softly. Below, the valley stretched out like a painted canvas, the winding river reflecting the fiery hues of dusk. For weeks he had wrestled with his decision, each moment of contemplation gnawing at him like the chill of impending winter. He could almost hear the echoes of his father's voice urging caution, yet the thrill of the unknown beckoned him forward into uncharted territory. Rex nudged his hand, grounding him in the present. The bond between man and dog was forged through countless trials, with Rex always sensing the weight of his master's heart. Thomas knelt, burying his fingers in Rex's thick fur, feeling the steady rhythm of the dog's breath. In that moment, he was transported back to that fateful day when his brother vanished into the woods. The choice to pursue the truth or to honor the quiet of his grief loomed large, and the specter of his brother's disappearance loomed heavy within him, an anchor tethering him to the past. With a deep breath, Thomas recalled the letter he had received, its words like daggers piercing his resolve. "I know what happened," it had said, signed with an unrecognizable initial. It had lit a fire within him, stoking the embers of doubt and suspicion. Who had sent it? Was it a cruel joke or a genuine plea for reconciliation? The mystery was as vast as the sky above, filled with hidden depths and shadowy corners. He stood up, feeling the gravity of the moment settle on his shoulders, and locked eyes with Rex, who seemed entirely aware of the significance of their journey ahead. As darkness began to envelop the valley, the gnawing uncertainty clawed at Thomas's insides. He could feel the choice pressing against his chest, a beast demanding to be fed. To pursue the truth could lead to answers or heartbreak. Perhaps both were intertwined in this tangle of shadows. Lost in thought, he paced, the crunch of gravel underfoot echoing in the still air. Rex remained poised, muscles tense, waiting for a command. Together they were a duo bound by loyalty, yet driven by the haunting question, what if the answers he sought were better left buried? Finally, the resolve crystallized as the last rays of daylight slipped away, leaving a blanket of stars twinkling above. Thomas squared his shoulders, feeling the shift within himself, a quiet determination replacing doubt. He turned to Rex, whose eyes shone with unwavering trust. "Let's go find the truth, boy," he whispered, his voice steady despite the tempest within. With that, the two descended into the darkened valley, the shadows deepening around them. Each step forward was a choice made, a commitment to confront not only the mysteries of the past, but the very essence of who he was meant to be. The sun hung low in the western sky, casting long shadows that danced across the dust-choked ground. Caleb tightened his grip on the rifle, its familiar weight both a comfort and a burden. Beside him, the steady presence of Rex, his faithful German shepherd, lowered into a crouch, his ears perked, sensing the tension that thickened the air. The silence was palpable, broken only by the distant rustle of wind through the parched grass. Caleb's heart raced as he recalled the stakes, his family's home, their dreams at risk, and the ominous figure that loomed in the shadows. As he crept forward, memories surged through him like a flood. He thought of the laughter shared during cooler nights beneath the stars, the warmth of his wife's arms around him, and how quickly that peace had been shattered by fear. Each step felt heavier, a reminder of the choices that led him here. Rex growled softly, sensing Caleb's inner turmoil. They were a team, bound by loyalty and love, yet uncertainty gnawed at him. Was he truly prepared to face the man who had brought so much pain into their lives? Then, a series of footsteps echoed through the canyon, each one a harbinger of the showdown to come. Caleb's breath quickened as he caught a glimpse of his adversary, silhouetted against the fading light, the outline unmistakable. There stood Silas, the man whose betrayal had left scars deeper than any bullet wound. The tension crackled like dry timber, and Caleb's mind raced for clarity amid the boiling emotions. Revenge or justice? The lines had blurred, and he needed to focus. Rex's low growl broke the stillness, a reminder that they were not alone in this fight. The two men locked eyes across the distance, a silent understanding passing between them that transcended words. Caleb's heart pounded as he recalled the childhood friendship now twisted into animosity. Silas smirked, a cruel twist of fate knowing the pain he had inflicted. Caleb felt anger rise within him, but beneath it, an unexpected sorrow. Memories of laughter and camaraderie battled with the betrayal that had brought them to this moment, forcing him to confront his own hurt and rage. Was vengeance truly the answer, or would it only perpetuate the cycle of suffering? As the confrontation drew near, Caleb felt the weight of choices stretching before him like the open plains. He could hear Rex's steady breathing beside him, a reminder of the love that anchored him to his purpose, protecting what remained. The distance between them closed, each step echoing in his chest. Caleb steadied himself, wrestling with the tumult of emotions raging within. This was not just a fight for survival. It was a battle for redemption. He would stand firm, not only for himself, but for all he held dear. With the sun setting behind him, he took a deep breath, ready to face the man who had changed everything. The sun dipped low over the rugged mountains, casting an orange glow across the sprawling valley. Jonah tightened his grip on the leather strap of his rifle, the weight of the cold metal grounding him amid the encroaching shadows. Beside him, Rex, his loyal German shepherd, stood alert, ears perked as if sensing the heartbeats of unseen foes. The stillness of the evening was deceptive, a fragile veil hiding the turmoil beneath. In that quiet moment, Jonah felt the tension in his chest. He was not just hunting game, he was hunting himself, confronting the fears that whispered in the dark. A distant rustle broke through the silence, drawing Jonah's attention. He squinted into the depths of the trees, heart pounding like a war drum. Memories of past failures flashed through his mind, moments when he had faltered, when bravery had slipped through his fingers like sand. Rex growled softly, instinctively urging Jonah forward. The beast in the woods was not the only threat. The ghosts of regret loomed larger than any man, pressuring him to turn back, to hide behind the safety of the familiar. But he wouldn't allow it. Not this time. Jonah took a deep breath, forcing his legs to move as he stepped further into the thicket, each footfall crunching against the brittle underbrush. He was aware of the weight of his own breath, the way it quickened with each step deeper into the unknown. With Rex at his side, he felt a flicker of courage ignite within him. The woods whispered secrets, of strength, of brotherhood. He would face whatever lay ahead, not just for himself, but for the bond he shared with his faithful companion. Together, they had overcome so much. They would not be defeated by fear. A flash of movement caught his eye. Jonah froze, raising his rifle as he peered through the dense foliage. The outline of a figure, vague and unfamiliar, slipped past the trees, vanishing like a mirage. His heart raced, adrenaline coursing through him as he exchanged a glance with Rex. The dog's instincts flared to life, signaling danger. Yet Jonah felt an undeniable pull to investigate. What lay beyond the boundary of his comfort zone? Was it a threat or the promise of revelation? This uncertainty was suffocating, yet intoxicating, pushing him to confront the unseen. As he forged ahead, Jonah unearthed a well of determination he never knew existed within him. With every stride, he dismantled the walls built by years of doubt. Each crackle of twigs underfoot became a testament to his resolve. Rex by his side mirrored his courage, a steadfast guardian against the encroaching shadows. He realized now that courage wasn't a lack of fear. It was the decision to move forward despite it. The forest was no longer a place of trepidation, but a canvas for discovery. With Rex leading the way, Jonah stepped into the unknown, ready to embrace whatever awaited him in the twilight. As the sun dipped behind the jagged silhouette of the volcano, casting a warm golden hue over the fields, Jacob stood in quiet contemplation beside his loyal companion, Max. The journey that began with curiosity and fear had unearthed not only the secrets buried beneath the earth, but also the truths hidden deep within his own heart. The volcanic caverns had revealed remnants of life long past, stories etched in rock that echoed the resilience of nature and the fragility of human existence. In the aftermath of the eruption, Jacob found solidarity in the chaotic dance of destruction and rebirth. Just as the land was reshaped, so too was he, molded by the revelations unearthed in the dark. With Max by his side, he embraced the richness of the present, knowing that each moment was a gift to be cherished. As they walked back toward their home, Jacob reflected on the profound lesson learned, that truth, often shrouded in mystery, had the power to heal. Home wasn't merely a place, but a tapestry of experiences woven through love, loss, and discovery. In embracing both the light and shadows, he finally understood. Home is where the heart finds its voice amidst the echoes of the past.